This conference will now be recorded.
Hi all, welcome to the session. Hope you all can hear me. Please let me know once you can see my screen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So see here, yeah. Previously we have started on EDTs, and then we have seen what are the EDTs and base enums, and I don't know how many of you have got a chance to create them. So today what we will do is we will start creating the extended data types, and depending on the time we will see tables. Okay, I want to start with the tables. Now I think we have the technical planning ready with us. We will start with the address table. ICI city, state, street, country, district, zip code. Let's create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities right away. Okay. Click on the add button, new item, and then this is a EDT string. You can go to data types and then create EDT string. And you can call it as ICI state. Click on the add button. Okay. Now, first of all, we will see properties of the string editing. And then, anyways, we plan to use 60 characters everywhere. So we can create one more generic editing with 60 characters and we can use all the places. That's up to us. Okay. And then if I go to the properties of the EDT, you can see there are a few set of properties. Okay. Few set of interesting properties. Adjustment, alignment, left, right, center. If you want to have any image, if you are using it in a button, you can set it button image. Similarly, if you have a EDT collection, and for that collection to for identification purpose, if you want to set a label, you can use this collection label. What is the height you want to display when you want to even when you are using this extended data type on the screen? Okay, when you are using a field which is mapped to this extended data type on the screen, what will be the height, what will be the length, and here help text and label are very interesting properties. Okay, as I told you, 90% of the times, this most of the times people will hard code, yeah, but hard coding is the best practice. Why? If you hard code the stuff, it will be only for English language. I told you and I showed you previously that Dynamics AX is going to support n number of languages. It's very simple to change the language. Let me show you. If I go to the URI, and then here you will see a settings icon. And using that settings icon, you can change whatever you want. Let's see what are the properties available and what are the languages available. We will change and then we will check how it is working. Let's see that. Okay. Settings, user options, and then you can see the preferences. Here the companies D80, you can see there will be n number of companies. Let me choose USMF. Okay. I choose USMF for a specific reason because there will be less amount of data here and it will be faster. And you can see the language here. Select the language. Let me select this Arabic Bahrain. Okay, let's try it out. Click on the save button. It got saved. Now let me open the URI again. USA. Now let's see in which language we are getting it. Okay. Oh, can you say this? What is this? Yeah, everything got changed to Arabic. I don't know Arabic. I don't know whether you people know this one or not. Okay. And can you see everything got reversed as well? This is how it works. Settings. Previously it was here. Now settings is here. Previously menu bar is here. Now it is here. Can you see this? These are the modules. Cost accounting, general accounts, payable account, everything. Okay. I don't know Arabic. Okay. So you can go to settings. And I think this is the user options. Oh, it's a bit difficult here. Forward and backward. Ah, I got it. ER-VH means this is the language. Let me change this to English here. Otherwise, frankly speaking, I don't know this how this will work. Okay. And where is the save button? Oh, this is the save button. Okay. Now everything will get converted into English. You can see here. So how we are going to achieve this? How we are going to achieve this? Okay. It's not the translation. Please remember, if you use Google Translator, frankly speaking, I think it's of no meaning because Google Translator is a artificial intelligence thing, and artificial intelligence never meet the expectations of brain here. Okay, I don't know whether you have seen or not. The Google Translator, I can say it will not translate correctly all the times. It will translate only 80 max, that too. 60 to 80% of the times I can say max. That's not the minimum, that's the maximum. Okay, it's limited. Whereas coming to the human, we can translate anything seamlessly. Okay, so how we are going to do that is there is something called labels. Click on the add button, new item, and then labels and resources. Click on the label file. Let's call it as ICI. Okay, I'm calling it as ICICI. You can call it whatever you want. Click on the add button. It will create a new label file for us by showing a wizard. It will open a wizard for us, and we need to do some selection. Okay, here what is the label file ID? You can keep IC. One second. ICI. Click on the next button. What are the languages you want? I want Telugu, and then I will select Hindi, and then you can select Tamil. Like this, you can select any number of languages here. You can see here is the list of languages. From those languages, whatever the languages you want to choose, you can choose it. Okay. Click on the next button. Finish. It will create a label files for us, and we are going to use that label files again to create these labels. Okay. Let me open Chrome. Anyways, I don't know all that languages, so I need to translate it. Okay. Now what we will do is whenever we have the requirement of having multiple languages, okay, you should never go to translate.google.com. You should give these labels. You should give these labels to your customer in English language, and from English he will translate and he will provide you. Please remember, okay? And in the English language. Now if you double click this file, you can see it will open a label file for us. And there is a big difference coming to the label file in case of AX 2012 and Dynamics 365. In case of AX 2012, we used to have the meaningless label IDs. We used to write at the rate sys 10567. It's a auto incremented number which is of no meaning. Whereas coming to Dynamics 365, you can create a meaningful names for the label. Okay, you can create a meaningful name for the labels. This is what you need to remember. And this is one of the biggest benefit. Got it? This is the benefit in case of Dynamics 365. Let it open here. It's taking some time. And now you can see by default there is a new label 0. That's a sample one. I will update this one to state name. I will update this one to state name. And then I will call this as name of the state. And I can say state name. And then the second one, I will call state help, enter name of the state. Okay, and then you can say it help. Next, similarly, if you want country, you can click on the new button. You can say country name, name of the country, and similarly, how many labels you want to create, you can create. Okay, it can be any number. Okay, you can create labels of any number. I have created 3 of them. This is in English language. Now, how to get them into Hindi language? See here, for this we will have, or we will get a file from the end user, and we will call it as a translation file. Okay, they will provide you the translation sheet, and on the translation sheet, you will have the label ID and then label in English. The 2 values you can provide. And what they will do is remaining, they will add a few more columns to the sheet in English, Hindi, whatever they want. They will use that, and they will use the Unicode, and then they will convert it and they will provide you. For example, okay, here I want to take state name. Okay, and in this, now I need to get in Hindi language. So what I need to do, I am going to translate, but please remember, this should not be done when you are on production. Okay, only for the purpose of understanding, I am doing this. Okay, you can copy this and you can paste it here directly. Okay, and then in the help text as well, if you want to have this in Hindi language, you can. Label ID will be in always. Label ID will be in always English language only, whereas only label and then help text you need to update. Please remember. Okay, this is very, very important. And then this is, oh, this should be in Hindi. Okay, you can get it done. Paste, done. Okay, and this is in English values. Enter name of the country. Done. Okay, this is how you can do. And similarly, state help, you can give this. Can you see this? Enter name of the street. Raj का नाम दर्ज करें. Previously, enter name of the country. देश का नाम. This is how it works here. Okay. You can paste it over here, and then you can call it as state help. Okay. This is how we will work with multiple languages. Similarly, if you want them in the Tamil, let's say for example. So now, once you add this to the front end, so how many languages your application is going to have? Your application will have 4 languages: English, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu. Okay. And if you are creating a label, and let's say you have not added label in Telugu and Tamil, then what will happen? Obviously, you will not get label. Please remember. Okay. You should be very careful about it. You will not get the label. It will be blank. Okay. This used to happen many of the times. So whatever you need to do is, you need to remember all these points. Okay. Like this, you can simply copy and paste and get the labels. Done. And this will be provided by customer generally. Okay, you are not going to use Google Translator. This will be provided by customer. Okay, if the customer does not provide this, that would be a big deal. Oh, sorry. I think this should be here. And don't ask me in Tamil here. I don't know what exactly it has given. Okay, this is how we are going to work with labels. And next, you can save this. This is also saved. This is also saved. Now you can go back to ICNE in the properties, label. And one more thing that will go wrong all the time is about this label and help text. the people used to try all the time to add same for label and help text. That is a bad practice. The label should be different, the help text should be different. Please remember this. This is very, very important. Okay. I am trying to search for the state name. So if I am trying to search for the state name here like this, it will try to get all of them, including the system labels. Now I will try to use ICI colon and then search. I will get it immediately because I have used the label file name. Please remember, click on the paste, and similarly, you need to take @ICI colon state help search paste. Okay, this is how you need to work. Now, wherever you are going to use this ICI state extended data type, it has got the labels. And again, when we are defining this label and help text, okay, this label and help text can be defined at number of places. Okay, number of places. What are those places? Because the first place that we can define is EDT, means extended data type. Okay, extended data type. Second place is table field. At the table field as well, you will have it here. At the form control. Okay, I will call it as bound control. I will discuss about this later on. Okay, or let me keep it form control for the sake of easiness. Okay, form control. So when to define at the EDT level, when to define at the table field level, when to define at the form level. Okay, to see that, now my EDT is ICI state. Okay, if I use ICI state, let's say in 100 screens, what would be the label? There is only one possibility of this label, that is name of the state. So if you use it at EDT level, wherever you use this EDT, the label will get printed. Okay, this is point number one. Point number two, let's say there is an EDT called amount. Okay, let's say there is an EDT called ICI amount, and coming to this amount, if I use this in the savings table, okay, or let's say in the savings table, what are the possibilities? I can have available balance. It can be, I can use the same EDT for available balance. Can use the same EDT for minimum balance. Is this right? Now I have two purposes. Which one EDT is to serve? Then what you need to do? You need to add this at the table field level. Okay. Now let's come to the same thing again back to back. And let's say I have a field called ICI name. I am using it everywhere across. Okay, but for the same name field, there are two forms, and in each form, they are expecting the value of the table field to be represented in a different fashion. Okay, the label of the same field should be represented in a different fashion. Then we will define the label at form control level. If it is unique across the AOT, define at the EDT level. If it is specific to the table, define at the table level. If you are trying to use the table on multiple forms, and in each form the label should be different, then define the label at form control level. The precedence, how the precedence will go? If you define label at form level, this will have the highest precedence. Okay, then that means this is considered first. Okay, then what it will do? It does not have here. Then it will go to label at table field level. This is the second place. And then there is no label here as well. Then what it will do? It will go and check for the label at EDT level. Okay, this will go into the third place. Remember, this is how the priority is. The priority will be given to the label at the form control level. Got it? At the form control level. Okay, so this is how we will plan for the labels, and this is how we are going to work with the labels. Okay, so please try to create the labels. Okay, while working with the project now, you can create a whole lot of labels. Now we have created one EDT ICI state. Now let me go with the next one, or for this table I will create all EDTs. Okay, now what I will do is I will set it to model view, and then I will go to ICICI, and then I will go to data model, data types, extended data types. I will take this state, click on duplicate. Okay, 1 second, let it duplicate. Okay, don't get confused. Actually, when you create it will take like this, whereas when you duplicate it will take like this. Okay, extended data types. That is how they have made it. Don't know what's the reason. City, street, district, country. I think 5 fields and then zip code. I need to have an integer. Okay, let's create it. 1 second. Let me rename this to ICI country. Let me rename this to ICI street. Let me rename this to ICI city. Let me rename this to district. Done. Okay. Now that we are done with creating the ETDs. So this is how we are going to create. And there is one more, which is of type integer. Click on the add button, data types, EDT integer, and let me call this as ICI zip code. Done. Okay, it has created integer, and you can go to the properties and you can see for integer. You will have the same label, help text, display, all this will be same. The appearance properties will be same, and if you want to display a sign, you can set it to yes. Otherwise, there is no need. Okay, you can set it to none because for zip code there will be no sign. And the second type of properties are behavior. If you see for the string, or if you see for the anywhere, it will be same. Okay, and this behavior properties we have used when we are working with the enterprise portal. Okay, the enterprise portal. Then what is the purpose of this behavior properties in case of Dynamics 365? Actually, you can see there is a class called data interactor factory class. Okay, so here the what can I say is the main purpose, okay, of this data interactor factory class is if we need to create a custom filter based on the data, you want to apply the filter automatically. Okay, based on the data that user is adding, you want to apply the filter automatically. Then we will use the data interactor factory class. But frankly speaking, okay, I never got that kind of requirement because already there are a lot of filters. Okay, and adding more and more number of filters as well will slow down. Okay, so that is the purpose of data interactor factory class. Okay, and we will see that depending upon the time. Next, you can see this literals. Okay, this literals means there is one specific thing for this literals in dynamics AX. Okay, because whenever you see the architecture, we have AX at one end, SQL at another end. Okay, so let's say for example, when you're creating a select statement, okay, when you're creating a query in AX, and this query should be executed in SQL if it needs to get the data. Is that right? If it needs to execute and if it needs to get the data, it should go to SQL and then it should do that here and then it should do that. Okay, but if it needs to do that, it should convert the select statement or whatever the query you wrote in Dynamics X into SQL. If it should do that, there's a framework at the back end. But now coming to the point, sometimes what people will say is, whatever I add in Dynamics AX in the where clause, whatever I add in Dynamics AX where clause, it should not be converted and it should be executed as is. Then this is going to work. Force literals. Literals means string constants. Whatever the strings I have added in Dynamics AX, that should be executed as is without any conversion. If you want to do that, then you need to use something called force literals. Okay, and if you want to do that at the ETD level, they have given an option called literals and you can use this. Okay, and similarly to control this factory, we are going to use the control class. Okay, and these two or three were used when we are working with the portal, and mostly they might remove that soon. Okay, next, the properties are the data properties. In these data properties, we have the first thing called configuration key. What is the first one? The first property is called configuration key. This is an interesting property because this configuration key should be added to each and everything in AOT. Okay, and I can say each and everything in the AOT means it will be there for EDT, it will be there for enum, it will be there for table, it will be there for table field, it will be there for form, it will be there for form control. Whenever you find the properties of an object in that properties, there you will see one unique property, and that is configuration key. So what is the purpose of this configuration key? The configuration keys are used to enable or disable the future. The purpose of the configuration keys is to enable or disable the future. If I go to front end in Dynamics 365, you can see there will be system administration, and in this you should see something called license. And in this license, one second. Oh, not here, sorry. License configuration in the setup. You can see license configuration in the setup. If I click on this license configuration, you can see there is something called configuration key. And you can see this is the bank module. This is the cost accounting module. This is the currency module. Like this, you can see there are a lot of modules here. Okay. In case of AX 2012, the benefit was that you can simply change whatever you want and you can sync. But whereas coming to the Dynamics 365, you can't do that. You need to set the environment in the maintenance mode. Then only you can enable or disable configuration keys. Okay. Similarly, let's say if you want to enable or disable the bank management module that we are developing completely, then whatever you need to do is you need to click on the add button, new item, and then go to no, one second, configuration, and then configuration key. Okay, and if you want to sell this product, you can create a license code and you can provide license code per customer. That's also possible. Okay, and you can give the name as ICI configuration key. Click on the add button. Now you can see this is the configuration key. If I go to the properties of the configuration key, enabled by default. By default, if you want to enable this, you can set yes. And here you can see the license code. This is interesting. If you create the license code and if you add it, you need to provide the license code to the customer. Okay? If he is adding this license code, then only it will work. Otherwise, it is not going to work. Please remember. Okay? If you want to see this, click on the add button, new item, license code, and you can call it as ICI license code. Click on the add button. You can see now license code is created, and in the properties you can see what are the prerequisites, what is the public key. If you want to have the certificate, you can provide the certificate here. Okay, you can provide the certificate, adding the certificate. So please remember, if you are adding the license code and if you are setting it up in the configuration key, then the most important thing is you need to provide this license code to the customer. If you don't provide this license code, then what will happen? He will not be able to access the module. Please remember, this is very, very important. ICI license code,
Is
save.
there any specific way to provide the license code to customer, or we just give him a name ICICI license code? Means
No,
you mean to say we
you're
can.
going to give the key. Okay, here you can see this prerequisites. You can give a certificate, or you can add the prerequisites and you can add the key, public key. You can do that. Okay.
What will we
Nowadays,
give to customer?
huh?
Yeah.
You need to
What
create a
will we
new
give to,
certificate.
we will give certificate.
Yes. Once he install the certificate, he will be able to access this.
So certificate will be created in a 365, or it is a separate entity.
There are multiple ways to create a certificate here. There are multiple ways because generally you will have a PFX when we generate the certificate. If you want to add it and if you want to use it, then you can do that. Because here you will not find that, okay? Configuration key group, but you will not find the certificate in any one of them here. Okay? In any one of the node, you will not see certificate. You need to create a PFX and then you need to attach that to the license code.
PFX, what stands for?
1 second. That's a Windows certificate one. I don't know the full form. Okay, just a second. Let me check.
So the technical consultant will create it, or there is some other person who will create?
These certificates generally we are not going to create. The functional guys will take care of these certificates. Okay. When we are releasing that, the functional consultant is going to create the certificate and then he needs to bind it. And you will have the admin involvement as well here. Okay. That certificates we are not going to create directly from our end. Technically, what we will do is, even coming to this license code as well, this will be used only when you are working in a ISV layer. Okay? Because if you are developing from the customer, there is no need of license code itself because you are developing for the customer and he is going to use it. Whereas if you are developing in a ISV layer, then if you give it to one customer, all the customers can use it. If you want to restrict that usage, then you are going to create a license code and you are going to give the license code per customer.
Okay.
And then that license code you are going to bind with the configuration key. And for each and every object, please remember, I'm saying each and every object you need to add that configuration key. Okay, for example, let me show you ICI table 1 or table 2. And if I go to the fields, name, properties, can you see this configuration key? You can add the configuration key you have created just now. ICI configuration key, save. Similarly, if I go to the EDT that we have created, I am taking this test name. Okay. If I go to the properties, and then you can see there is a configuration key, you can select ICI. So for each and every object that you create, you need to add this configuration key, because these configuration keys are used to enable or disable a specific feature. Okay, because you might ask me, okay, what is the purpose of adding that to tables and all this. Okay, fields, all these things. Because there is one more requirement apart from this license code. Now, if I want to keep aside this license code, there is one more requirement where we will use this configuration keys. Okay, license code, you know now one of the requirement, but please remember there are few places where you will not use this license code. Only configuration key without license code where you will use it. Okay, for example, if you take Diwali, during this you will have a discount feature. Now the customer wants this discount feature to be enabled only during Diwali, and after Diwali, before Diwali, the discount feature should be disabled. Will you add the dates? Will you say that from October 27th to 31st it is Diwali week, so enable this, after that disable this? You will add something like that? No. What we will do is we will create a future ICI discount configuration key, and then we will have the set of objects related to this discount bind with ICI discount configuration key, ICI discount configuration key, and later on disable this. Done. Then later on that they cannot use that feature itself. This is how it works. This is the other way around. If you want to use the discount feature in this fashion, then as well we will use the configuration key itself, but we will not define the license code over there. Okay, but we will not define the license code over there. Okay, because if you apply the license code again, it will check for the license code and all those things. So that's up to you again. Sometimes you might say, oh, mine is a ISV, so I want to have the license code. Then you can do that. Okay, that's all up to you. Depending upon the requirement, we are going to use this kind of things. Got it? Okay. Now we know what is configuration keys and how to enable them and when to use them. Configuration keys are used for to enable or disable a feature. And then you can see there is something called country region codes. There is something called country region codes. So what is this country region codes? The country region codes for a specific country, okay, if you have a set of codes, then you can update it here. Okay, but frankly speaking, these country region codes we will update, which is a hard coded value. For example, for India, I will update IND as the country region codes. Okay, because all the places for India I want to use IND itself. Okay, like this, if you want to have any unique code for your country region, then you can define it. Okay, the next one is extents. The extents is used for inheritance. We have a concept called EDT inheritance. Okay, we have a concept called EDT inheritance. Okay, you have a system EDT and except label and help text, except label and help text, you would not be able to modify the other properties. Okay, let me show you. I want to create one more EDT so that I can demonstrate this EDT inheritance. I want to create a new EDT. Click on the new item and then go to data types, and you can call it as EDT real. I will call this as ICI generic amount. Okay, please remember, or I will call it as ICI amount. I want to use this real field everywhere, not one or two places. I will use the same field everywhere. For this ICI amount, now what I will do is I will go to properties. In the extents property, I will set it to amount MST. Done. Now let me check what are the properties that can be modified. Can you see this scale 6? It cannot be modified. Okay, the scale cannot be modified. Number of decimals you can add it. Okay, number of decimals I can change, but scale it will be 6. It cannot be changed. Rotate sign. If you want to do the rotate sign, you can do that. If you want to show the 0 value, you can set it to yes to show the 0 value. If you want to display a sign, you can set it to for this sign you can see there are 3 things here. Okay, prefix, suffix, parenthesis. So what is the difference? Okay, what is that? One is prefix. Prefix means if you have a negative number, if you put it to -10, then it is a prefix. Suffix. Suffix means If you are putting 10 minus, this is a suffix. And based on the country, they will be using differently. Okay. In one country, they will say minus 10. In another country, they will say 10 minus. And if you are if you are showing a revenue statement, okay, or the profit and loss statement, then we will use parenthesis. Okay, we will indicate in the brackets 10. Okay, this is also a minus 10, but when we are using the profit and loss statement, then we will use in the brackets to indicate you have a loss. Okay, so like this, depending upon what you are using and what you're doing. Okay, you are going to use prefix, suffix of this one. And similarly, you can see this properties will be same. Now I am extending. If I am extending, I am saying that the properties of amount MST, the extended data type properties amount MST, whatever are there, I want to get all those here. I want to get all those here. Okay, that is meant by EDT inheritance. And similarly, you can see this TST name. For example, if I change this extends and if I add name EDT here, now you can see the string size is disabled. It's 60. Can you see this? Label and help text you can update, but size you cannot update. So there will be few properties you can update and there will be few properties you cannot update while using the EDT inheritance. Please remember, this is very, very important. Okay. Now next, I think we have defined the few of the entities that we need. Now let me do one thing. Let me close this. This is an integer. Tamil, Hindi, English, and this is a state EDT. Go to properties and set it to some 60. I am putting the state name to 60 characters. Like this, we can update all the EDTs. Okay. I can go to Solution Explorer, and these are the EDTs: city, open, properties, 60, country, open, properties, 60, district, open, properties, 60, street, open, properties, 60, save. Okay, so this is how it works. This is how we are going to work with extended data types. Okay, and based on the requirement, you can create or you can use the standard ones. That's all up to you. Okay, either you can create a new ones or either you can use the standard ones based on the requirement, because most of the times if you use standard ones, there is one problem. What is the problem? Whenever there is a change in the standard editor, you will find change in your functionality as well. If you don't want to have that, if you don't want to your functionality to be impacted due to standard editing, then don't use standard ones. Use the new ones that you need. If it is okay, even if your functionality is getting impacted, then you can go with the standard ones. Okay, so this is how we will decide whether to use the standard EDTs or whether to use the custom EDTs. Got it? This is how we are going to decide. Okay, is it clear on how to work with this, or do you have any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
No, just okay.
Okay, good. So let's do one thing. Yeah, I want you to create these EDTs, and please remember, okay, I'm giving you time so that you can download the environment and you can set up the environment. I can say very near, because generally the session will go from 8 a.m. to 9:15, 9:20, something like that, because it will get extended most of the time. So I want you to get your environment ready. Okay, I am giving you this time only for the one reason. I want you to set up that environment. Okay, only for few days. I can say max this week I will be taking a 45 or 50 minutes a day, so that if you have any queries you can ask me. Later on it will continue from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and it might increase up to 9:15 or some days, depending upon whatever the concept that we are discussing. It will extend up to 9:15, something like that. Okay, yeah, now it's your time. Please let me know if you have any queries.
Can you please explain literals again? I have some doubt
Okay.
in that.
Okay. Now, when you are working with these force literals, what it will do is, okay, actually that literals, if I explain along with the select statements, that would be good, but I will just explain you how it works. Okay, let's say you wrote a select statement, select table 1, where table 1 dot test equal to some 14, some value you have given. Okay, now what AX will do is, this statement, it will convert into SQL. So while converting into SQL, you have, or you will define a number of strings. If you want this to be executed as is, whatever you wrote in AX, if you want the string literals not to be converted and to be executed as is, then you will use something called force literals. If we are saying force strings, okay, because generally what AX will do is, by converting a query to a SQL, it will optimize the query. Okay, it will optimize the query and then it will execute on SQL. If you don't want to do that optimization, okay, then you can say force literals. And like this, we have a lot of things. Force nested loop, force placeholders. I will tell you when we go to the queries about them. Okay, I will explain you in detail when we go to the queries. Yeah. Next,
And
any
one
other?
more, and one more question about the labels. Uh, if we, you have mentioned that we can also use the label at form level. Can we use the form labels at lookup level? Suppose we are going to provide a lookup, and on the lookup caption, we will suppose
You
want
can.
to.
In your
Okay.
lookup caption, if you want to use labels, because there are multiple ways of generating a lookup. Okay, the first way of generating a lookup is you can use the table and then you can generate a lookup. The
Okay.
second way of creating a lookup is you can create your own lookup by adding the values. While adding those values, you can add labels. You can do that.
Okay.
Next. Okay, if there are no queries, I will end session for everyone.
One more question for environmental side I want to ask. Um, in the production environment, do we have the same development environment like we download this VMM? Because
No,
in last lecture you have said that that machine was a bit costly, and right
the
now we are
production environment will be different. In production environment, you will not have Visual Studio itself. You cannot develop in production. It's not like AX 2012. In AX 2012, you can develop in production as well, but in D365, it's completely remote. Okay, I will show you what is a package and how the package will be deployed and all those things. At that time, I will explain about those things. Okay, but please remember, in production, you will not see code itself. You will not be able to find the code itself. You will have it's similar to the DLL.
okay. Suppose there are 10 or 15 or 20 members in a team, and they are working on a single client project, and they are creating a database. So we know how to create a team project in Azure DevOps, and the tables. Where will be the database? Suppose if 5 people will be in a team, and can they point to the
See here,
same database?
you can do that, but that is not the preferred way. Okay,
Okay.
because your database is with you. You can see this ICI, and then you have the tables, ETDs, and everything. So whatever they need to do is they need to get the latest version, and then they need to build and sync. Done. They will get it automatically, because you can build the individual model. In case of AX 2012, the problem was that you need to do a full compile, whereas here the benefit is you can build a single model. Yeah, I showed you. You can build a single model. You can build only your ICICI model, and you will get all the tables and everything.
Okay.
Okay, because daily the first thing that we need to do is
Yeah. Okay. Please proceed.
daily the first thing you need to do is you need to get the latest version from the TFS, do a build of your model, and then you need to start the development.
Okay. So metadata is also shared, so the database fields, table structures, all will be shared.
Yes.
Okay.
Next, any other questions? Okay, if there are no queries, I will end session for everyone. Thanks all for the session. Let's meet again tomorrow same time. Thank you all. Bye.